How is it going, everybody? It is I, Shane, and I'm here once again to give you a House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones episode review. Episode 5 is entitled We Light the Way. Oh shit, they do light something. Before I go any further, please don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here, hit the notification bell even if you aren't, so you'll be notified of more videos just like this. I got phone notes. I have notes here in front of me. I'm gonna be jumping all over the place because this is one hell of an episode. If anybody is, they don't really care about what happened in this episode because people already have the previews for next week, which we're out with the old characters, we're in with the new. And what do I mean by that? Not really characters, as actors. The first woman who plays Rhaenyra, she will be phased out for the older looking one because at this point, Ray is at least 18. Because she's going to be going on in her 20s and whatnot. So passage of time and whatnots. I don't know if Alicent's actress is going to be changing either. But man, let's talk about... First of all, I am happy to say... No, I'm not. I'm not happy to say this at all. Everybody in this show is an asshole. And I still somewhat feel for Rhaenyra. I kind of feel for her. But boy, oh boy... Look, I looked at the cliff notes of the Dance of the Dragons, or whatever the official book is called. The Civil War is called the Dance of the Dragons. But I did some cliff notes. I know how some things are supposed to happen. I know how some things are supposed to come to a conclusion. But fuck, pardon my language. Damn. So let's just talk about this. Weddings in Game of Thrones are shitty. No. If you were transported into the Game of Thrones world, A, learn how to fight quickly. B, stay someplace that is between a village and between the kingdom. Because you don't want to work as king anything, and you don't want to be a little serf in, feudal layman's terms. You don't want to be peasants or serf or none of that. You want to have something. And it's revealed to me that apparently knights take an oath of what is that called, of celibacy. Didn't know that was part of the deal. This is just wow. Just Cole and then the cripple kid of strong of Lionel, both of them are assholes too. Everyone in this show sucks. How do I even get to this? So I told you I'm gonna be hopping around. So let's talk about cripple asshole, right? I'm just gonna call him that. I don't care for him. Almost felt bad for him. No, don't. Just he is not as great as his dad. Dude is people are plotting so damn hard. Like we open up on we open up on the Vale, where we finally get to meet the lady. Oh my god, I don't remember her first name. I think it's Rhea, Lady Rhea of Royce, and she's got to go out and hunt a deer. She's on her white horse. Her cousin Gerald is there. He's like, "You want me to come with? You want to do it alone?" No, I'm going myself. Right? This is Daemon's wife. This is how this damn show sets the freaking tone. So up in the road, Daemon has his cloak on. He's there. And in the middle of the road, she's like, "Oh, it's my dear husband. What brings you back? Oh, your brother. He's done having company with you. Perhaps you want to consummate our marriage, or would you prefer one of the sheep if I'm not willing?" And she basically everything that he said at that toast has been passed around, because I heard, they're prettier. I know. And my lord, I'm gonna go back to my notes for this. And he reaches for the horse, and the horse kind of backs up, and she knows, he's upset about a child being placed as the next heir instead of him. He's like, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna strike the child down?" And he's still kind of reaching for the horse, and she reaches for her bow. She doesn't realize what he's trying to do. He's trying to spook the horse successfully, Horse falls back. She's crushed. Like she can't move. And she's just trying to hold in her whimper. She's hurt. And it's something interesting about Daemon. I don't know if he really can't. I'm trying to figure out if women are his weakness. Because he's going to walk away and just let her die there. And she's like, you're a coward. You're craven. I knew you couldn't finish it. And he's just like, all right, cool. Reach for a rock. And now we go. It's just that. And she's dead. I'm going to do the thorough line here. So as you all know, Ray is going to get married to her cousin, Leonard. Just going to call this dude Leonard. Leonard's gay. Flat out. We and it was heavily hinted by his mother and father, and it's very much, of course, his cousin knows because they were raised together. Dude is gay, and when things seem to be kind of working out for Ray, where she's like, look, cousin, I like duck, but you like goose, and whether we like it or not, our tastes aren't going to change, but we could do our duties to our dads, and when we do, we can go and indulge in our own appetites, which he's down for it. And the matter of fact, the night dude that's protecting him is actually his boyfriend. That's his guy. Glad they got to share one last tender kiss, just like she is tender with Sir Christian Cole. And what's so funny is that they're trying to figure out, I wonder who her guy is. Technically, her guy is technically her uncle, but let's fast forward. So we're going to fast forward to when they're doing the dance. We're at this large feast. It's supposed to be 7 days of tourneys and feast and all this other stuff. It's supposed to be grand. And at the end of all this, she's speaking High Valyrian with her uncle. It's very tense and it's very flirty. He even does a little neck thing. And she's like, hey, you still have time. You can take me, marry me at Dragonstone, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Here's where all hell breaks loose. There's a fight that goes on. And it's Cole that starts the fight. So before I get into all this, I have to talk about all of this buildup. Let's talk about why Cripple Strong is an asshole. He does his little speech about some flower in the garden is not supposed to, it wasn't supposed to thrive, but here it is, obviously calling her the flower. The little tree that's there has a face. It's weeping, looks like it's weeping blood. She said bye to her dad. Dad is like, hey, you ate at this, you picked Rhaenyra. And she's like, well, I believe her. And he's like, hey, my information's not wrong. And she... it's a king decision for him to go. She didn't want it. She doesn't like it. And he tells her that Rhaenyra will turn a sword to you and your family. So you need to pray for her mercy, or you need to try to get Aegon on the throne, which her whole thing is if you weren't so hell bent on it. And no one in the stupid, sexist, dumb ass land of people who are only thinking with their dicks in their wallets cannot see that that's still the issue. And the issue is from King, what is his name? Daenerys, the guy that made King V king instead when they took the council, instead of his actual freaking daughter, his cousin, the one that's married to Cornelius. All of this could have been rectified if you would have just made the woman the first woman in charge. None of this would have happened. None of this could have happened. And it's ridiculous. Literally, King V is actively dying. He has no fingers. He winces when his cousin, she happily takes his hand. When we later see his arm is all the way messed up. Dude, and he knows he's dying. He knows it. Because even the new hand is Cripple Strong's dad. The guy who gives him great advice, literally gives him good advice that the king doesn't use. The king says, you're always right. You literally are always right. Because he's wondering, were people going to write good songs about me? I didn't conquer, I didn't battle and lose. And dude's like, many people say it's a good thing. Nothing happening is good. And King's like, I wish I could have been put through the crucible. Maybe I could have been a different man. Yeah, a lot of people that get put through that wish they didn't have to. And it's funny because the king goes, a lot of people would just tell me that I would raise up like, Aegor the Conqueror, and dude kind of feel that he fucks up, and King goes, no, dude, you're right. You've been right the whole entire time. If you would have just married your cousin's daughter. Man, that sounds weird. If you would have just married her, who now that she's grown up now, she's taller than Ray Ray, and that's crazy. Passage of time is nuts. If she would have just did that, none of this. Again, we had 2 moments in time where none of this would have happened. And Allison's not trying to see him. And Allison's not trying to see him because Cripple Man goes, well, you would need a friend, right? And she's like, well, I'm queen. I got tons of friends. And he's like, well, I heard, like, Rhaenyra, I heard she was ill. I heard the maester had brought her a tea. And she's like, a tea? I guess everybody knows about Plan T, right? And, he's like, well, maybe I misheard. Maybe thank goodness she isn't sick. This dude is stirring the freaking pot. I hope when he dies, because he will, I hope it is in the worst way possible. I hope he tries to run away from something and he can't. Fingers crossed. Because everybody in the show is an asshole. And she hears that, and he's like, yeah, it was at the behest of the king. So there are tons of emotions going on in her face. One, she cannot believe that Rhaenyra would lie to her. But then she's like, damn, the king still didn't trust my word, even though he did all this with her father. Now, here's the thing. King comes back, King falls. This is when he gets the thing. While we're on our way, King was getting seasick going there. And even Cornelius, after the king says, I want to propose, my daughter gets married to your son, we'll combine our houses. They had some interesting political talks because Cornelius is like, well, when they get married and the custom, will she take his last name? And he's like, oh, are you saying that when she becomes my heir, that your house name will rule? It's like, look, Targaryen will rule for another 100 years, just like we ruled other 100 years, and dragons, blah, 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 blah. And what the king says is that, look, when they first get married, yeah, she'll take his name. But then she'll go back to being a Targaryen once she's my heir. And dude's like, you know what? I that's fine. But he feels bad because King is now laying down while they're trying to get the ship ready to leave. And even the queen is like, look, for a king to come here to basically beg for us to take his daughter's hand, even though Cornelius still does the song and dance, he still kneels. The wife, the one who got passed over, and he acknowledges that she got passed over from closed-minded fools, even though he was technically closed-minded too with the whole, I think the whole thing is he wanted one of his own people, just like everybody else. He wanted one of his own people there. He really didn't care about Ray being the heir. And she said something really good. She's like, what is the point of all this? Like, and same thing that Allison's dad said, there will be a war, there will be civil war, there will be people that will not stand for it. And we're going to put our son in danger. She's like, you understand, our son's ways. Like, oh, he'll grow out of it. There's no pleasure in the world than bedding a lady. And he's all up on her. And I'm like, he's gay. Cool. And she's like, but what is the point of all this? For wealth, for power, for status. He's like, for justice. And of her being passed over. And she's like, she hushes him like, I have gotten over that. And that is the whole thing. Like, there's no point for all of this because you all will meet a horrible end. So we're on this boat and this stuff is crazy because Christian Cole talks to her. He's like, she's like, oh, you can't sleep. And he's like, well, I need to talk to you. Look, we can just run. He basically says we can run away together, oranges and spices, and we just go out and have a family. You don't want this marriage anyway. You disdain all of the stuff and all the choices that you cannot make. We can go out and actually be free. And she rebukes him. She's like, why would I want that stuff when I can have the throne? Which is just like, oh shit, there's actually a part of her that does want power. Like, she hates all the status quo, but she wants the power. Wow. And she says, my cousin has other tastes. We have an arrangement. He can go out and seek his interests. I can seek mine. He's like, so I'll be your whore. And this is when I realized this dude is 5-letter word that starts with a P. I'll leave it at that, right? Because now his whole thing is, I broke my oath with you. I broke my celibacy oath, and I thought maybe if we got married and just went away, I can rectify that somehow. And I'm like, oh, you really didn't care about that. You're trying to make the inner turmoil that you feel better. You don't really care about any of this. Okay. Back at the kingdom again. The conversation that he has with Allison, where this dude, man, if this show is an example of be careful who you bed and be careful who you wed, I don't know what is. Because when she calls him in and he thinks it's the princess, no, she calls him in and is like, yo, heard some stuff about Daemon. Heard about, I get it. We all make little mistakes, right? We all make mistakes. And he says, no, it's true. I did it with her, though. I broke my oath. I did all this. It's my fault. Well, she was insistent on it, but no, it happened. And dude goes, only thing I ask, if you take mercy on me and just allow me a swift death and not to be tortured. And while he's ready for that, she's just like, you can go. Bro, what is happening is the wants of stupid ass Hightower Otto and his family, and the wants of the Targaryens to keep ruling. That stuff has warped these two girls since the age of 14. Has warped these two innocent girls into this. And now she's all around pissed. She even shows up to the wedding announcement, like when the king is beginning to speak. She comes in, everybody has to stand up again, and he has to find his place and all that. And of course, old cripple jackass is like, he's like, you know what color they put at the high tower when it's time for war? He's like, green. She's showing up in green, and her uncle, her dad's brother, her uncle, says the people in the old town, they got your back. I'm glad you decided, I figured when your dad was out, you would be overshadowed, but you're not. And that's great. And all they care about is just power. This Iron Throne literally killing the king. Dude, coughing up blood, dripping, losing body parts with every prick, and all of that stuff. Actively watching his brother thirst over his daughter. And so the fight was started by Sir Christian Cole. Why was that fight started? That fight was started because during the dance, the courting dance between the soon-to-be husband and wife, the gay lover, he's the Knight of Kisses, I believe his last name is Lawnmouth. Dude figures out, he's like, Christian Cole is her dude. He's like, how do you know? He's like, basically saying he looks pussy whooped, right? He looks like a dude who has just been gobsmacked. And he does the stupidest thing. He goes up and talks to him, basically says, I know your secret. He basically and when Leonard, I'm just gonna call him Leonard. When Leonard basically tell him, hey, you need to be cool and not say this out loud. He's like, well, you know her secret, she knows yours, right? And you basically tell him, hey, we know each other's secrets. You protect her, I'm gonna protect him. And kind of bumps into him a little bit. And during the dance, I guess somewhere down the line, Cole snaps. And I can't tell if, Leonard was trying to get him off of him. And, you get, first of all, what's his name? Harwin? The Knight Harwin is a G. Like, he does what needs to be done. Like when the hand goes, nods for him to break it up. When Daemon comes in to dance with Ray, he's like, yeah, of course, do what you gotta do. He's a G. I actually like him. Dude's beating this guy's face in. These two are supposed to be in battle. These two are supposed to be battle hardened. Guy tries to bring the knife. No, Cole has basically Negan this dude's entire left side of his face. It's just open, vacant, blood pouring out. People are leaving. It's mad. I can't tell. The ending is so disjointed because we see the wedding. Leonard cries over his body. We see the wedding. We see Cole's bitch ass about to take his own life before Allison stops him, which he's gonna be a bitch to deal with later. Just keep that in mind. And I can't tell if the wedding takes place immediately after, and it might does take immediately after because there's just blood. That blood from Lawnmouth is still on the ground. And then the king, as soon as they're done with the I do's, and it's so sad because you can see it on Ray Ray's face. She feels bad for Leonard. Leonard's still crying this whole entire time. He's crying while going through this. Literally, literally King passes. He's down. Just down. And crazy part is Ray knows something is up with Allison because of the look on her face and how she's speaking. And Allison technically did the first strike by listening to her bitch ass dad to sneak on in there to be the king's new wife. And the king wants to blame it on his grief of his wife passing. Dude, you did not. Let's be real. He didn't care about Emma. You know what he care about getting the heir, and he's mad because now he's like, well, damn. Now I'm lonely and I ain't got no son. Damn. Everyone in this show sucks. Except for Harwin. House Lannister is full of a-holes. Cripple strong guy. Ugh. Just the new Hands Elite nice. His dad is better than him because his dad at least tells it like it is. Even though he still has a touch of that closed-mindedness that has plagued all of this. Just, man, I would hate to see what these people would do, would have done when Cersei was in charge. Just, man. I already talked about Daemon killing his wife. Just the base of this whole story is duty should not, whatever familiar duty you feel, if it is going to unmake you, right? And we all have duty, like those of us who have good parents, those of us who have good family members, whoever's raised you, whoever's taken care of you, you feel a duty or a kinship to them. But what people view as something that you should do, people are trying to actively take away your freedoms, to hell with that duty thing. And at the same time, the show is telling you, damn, I feel like the whole damn series is telling you, wanting something so bad, wanting power so bad and trampling over other people to get it, that ain't it, man. Like, damn, stop listening to other people. Stop having other people think they know what's better for you. Figure it out for yourself. Even if you don't know, figure it out for yourself. Man, Allison. It's gonna be Allison versus Ray. Just, I don't care if that is a spoiler for people. It's pretty damn obvious. Just Jesus Christ. And since next episode we get the adult versions, did the king die? Is Ray in charge? Does the fighting start now? What happened with Daemon? As a matter of fact, Daemon's ex cousin-in-law confronts him and tells him, yeah, no, I'm here to accuse you. He flat out says, I'm here to accuse you. Seems like House Royce were nice people. He's like, I'm here to accuse you, bruh, because you know what? Everyone knows. It's like, yeah, she was a great writer. It's kind of weird that she died that way. Even when Cornelius told the news to King V, King V in his hand, they both have to know that Daemon killed that girl. They have to know. And Gerald's just like, yeah, man, I'm in the Vale. We have people stand up to crimes, even Targaryens, and dude. And Daemon's like, yeah, well, here at King's Landing, we don't take slander lightly. How about that? By the way, I want my inheritance. She was gonna get Runestone, right? Tell you what, I'm gonna be there in a couple weeks. Hope to see you there. Daemon gonna kill this man. Just, Matt Smith is really good at playing villains, y'all. One of the crazy things that I want you guys to think about. Remember, was that last episode? Yeah, it was the sex was last episode. Remember last episode when Allison's having sex with the king? There's a rat up there, and after everything's done, there's still a rat up there. And then one of the very last scenes that we see is that a rat comes up and laps up that blood. I guess that maybe it's the mixed blood of King V and Lonmouth, but he comes and licks up that blood just for all of this peasantry and all of this high order and blah, 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 blah. You still have rats in your home ready to lap up your blood. Lord, I wish Allison hadn't stopped Cole. Wish he would have let him. You can't trust a dude like that. Like this dude doesn't really, like, he is obvious that him and Ray Ray were smitten with one another, right? That was obvious. Even she's the one that pulled him into that whole court thing. She allowed that to happen. They didn't even want you there, bro. So the fact that because you slept with the girl, the princess, who you already liked, like, he seems super spineless to me. It's so weird. Maybe I don't even. Damn. Just damn. I don't even know what to make of that. Is anybody okay with that? That seems like such a weird turn for that character. I could have seen it go another way where he's like, oh, so we can be us. Well, you know what? How about this? How about we have a secret marriage? They could have had a secret marriage. Can't have that because apparently he is hard on his oath. I don't know. He fumbled the bag. He's fumbling super hard. He has made more problems. Like, the only person that actively tried to solve problems was Strong, the strong dude. Because at least he tells the truth. At least his options lead towards a path of nothing bad happen. But he's still sexist. It's just that everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. I think I'm done. I think I've gone through everything. Yeah, Kisses Dash. Yeah, Cole and Cripple Man are just. That's all I can say is just Whew. You know, it's funny because we already have an ending to the show, the Game of Thrones show. You're probably never going to get an ending to that book because George R.R. Martin does not care anymore. Prove me wrong. We already know this story's not going to end off well, right? Like, it's very obvious, right? I mean, from episode 1, it's just like, yeah, it's not going to end up okay. And remembering where we were at the start of episode 1 of Game of Thrones, this is not going to end happily. But I'm here for the political BS. Feels like D&D. It'll help my D&D because I'm still in some of this stuff. Whew. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this episode in the comment section down below. Did I miss anything? I am not big on Easter eggs. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not big on Easter eggs because I didn't actively read this book. Reading Cliff Notes does not constitute reading a book. Just because you know the plot and you know some significant things does not constitute. So what did I miss? What was your favorite part of this episode? I have to say, for me, it was that small glimmer of hope for Leonard and Ray Ray. That's when they were walking on the coast. That was a small glimmer of hope. And hell, it actually looks like Leonard's little sister, Lenora, looked like she wants some of Daemon because she was eye banging him across the table and he was kind of giving it back like, you know, yeah, you grown up, man. She's like, yeah, sorry about your wife. Well, you know, it is what it is. But then he goes and he actively flirts with what is going on. Does that mean he's going to take her as a consort later just to fill in that void? The only thing I say about Daemon is at least you know you can't trust him. And if the king wasn't all up in his feelings, if you would have just stuck with your brother, I think everything would have been okay. Again, let me know what you think of the episode in the comment section down below. Do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, hit the notification bell even if you aren't new here so you get notified of more videos like this. And I know I told this in a disjointed way, and I wish I could have went by character, but it all tied together. Ray actually wants power, but she wants to do it her way. Cole is a bitch. Cripple Man's a bitch. Allison is easily swayed. You're 18 and you're still easily swayed by your papa and all these other people. The king knows he's dying. You're done, man. You're fish food at this point. Cornelius is trying to right a wrong, and when his wife is like, "Let's just let it go," and poor Leonard gets dragged into this, and his man gets killed because his man cannot keep his mouth shut. Wow. As always, thank you for taking some time out to listen to me. Be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Be safe out there, everybody. Just be good to yourself. Be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. No need for any of that, right? Take care of each other, everybody. Realize that you're not alone, and I will most definitely see you all next time. Oh boy. If you like Lord of the Rings, that review's coming this week. First 3 episodes. I'll see you later.